information later.
First, the Vauxhall Meriva, one of the best-selling people carriers in the UK, aimed at parents doing the school run. Vauxhall call it the perfect car for you and the kids, but families we've met are too scared to drive it. Sean Williams reports.
The new Vauxhall Meriva.
Two worlds in one car.
The family looks nice, the ad looks gorgeous, and the car looks just the thing for mums like me.
So we get the radio.
While we listen to our CDs. So our babysitter can come too.
No wonder so many parents have fallen for it. But there's a serious problem with the power steering on some Merivas that's not only costly to fix, it's also potentially very dangerous. Not quite so family friendly after all. Lisa Butcher bought her Meriva second-hand in 2008.
I've got 4-year-old twins and I wanted a nice family-friendly car with lots of space that I could take the kids out and about in, and something that was reliable.
The Meriva comes with power steering, essential for parking and manoeuvring around town. Brilliant if it works, terrifying if it doesn't.
I was driving with my children in the back and I was just approaching a roundabout and suddenly I couldn't steer the car. It just went really stiff. Luckily I was going quite slowly, so I managed to steer it around, and then I managed to force it into a parking space, which I found almost impossible.
A problem with the electrics had caused Lisa's power steering to fail. It can happen at any time and without warning, and it's left Lisa scared to drive her car.
It has to be a safety issue because you don't know it's going to happen, so how can you plan for that? And if you're not expecting it, there's going to be a delay, and that delay could kill you.
Near misses and uncertainty have also become part of Craig Sheeran's daily routine. He bought his Meriva brand new in 2006. Over the past 12 months, the power steering has failed more than 100 times.
It makes me very nervous to drive the car, especially when I have my kids in the car and my partner. Even now, after 8 months it happened continuously, it still shocks me when it goes. It still really upsets you a bit because it could happen anywhere.
We've heard of more than 100 cars manufactured between 2003 and 2008 that all suffer from the same problem. But Vauxhall have let these cars stay on the road. What dangers do their drivers face each time they get behind the wheel? Well, we asked car expert Mark Brown to take Craig's Meriva on a test drive, and within minutes of him setting off...
Oh, that's gone. All the EBS lights on and the steering's suddenly gone heavy. And the steering's got really hard. And it's almost impossible to turn the steering.
During the hour-long test drive, the power steering failed an incredible 7 times.
It's gone back in again. As soon as I touched the steering, it kicked back in again.
Now it's my turn. I'm taking a test at Thruxton Racetrack with a couple of Meriva owners as spectators. As the fault is intermittent, Mark has programmed it to happen on this Meriva. He just needs to flick the switch and the power steering will fail. But as I start my first manoeuvre, I have no idea when it'll happen.
Gone, hasn't it?
That was horrible. That was the power steering going. And I tell you what, you notice it instantly.
Now that's what happens to us on roundabouts when you're stuck.
Oh, yep, it's gone.
Hello Julie, hello Carol.
Hello.
You were watching that, weren't you? Yeah, did you recognise it?
Yes,
Pretty
did you?
scary.
It is, isn't it?
We knew when it'd gone on
Yeah,
you. We
yeah.
could see you were struggling.
The thing is, though, that this is safe because it's a test track.
That's
I knew
right.
it was coming. Julie, that doesn't often happen with you. It's not the
No.
same environment at all, is
It's
it?
not my environment. It is. I have a 3-year-old in the back, and I can just be going along a dual carriageway at say 50 miles an hour, and then come to a roundabout, and suddenly it will just veer off, and I'm then struggling with him in the back.
Safety issues like these are investigated by VOSA, the Vehicle and Operator Services Agency. They can force a manufacturer to recall any car with a safety defect, something that's likely to cause significant risk of injury. We asked them if they'd received any complaints about the power steering in Merivas. They said yes, but as their tests have shown the car could still be driven when the steering failed, they saw no reason to take any action. So what does our expert say?
Well, they're right, you can still drive the car, but the amount of effort you have to put into steering the car, particularly if you're taken by surprise when the steering does fail, has to increase the risk of an accident. It can be very dangerous, potentially. Even as an experienced driver, it certainly takes you by surprise. I found that it lengthened the time and the distance you needed to steer the car. And in certain circumstances, that could be quite serious.
Vauxhall's decision is surprising because it also sets the rules for MOTs, and when it comes to power steering, those rules are very clear.
If a car's found to have defective steering or steering that malfunctions, then it could fail its MOT, which means it's unroadworthy.
If Vauxhall had decided this was a safety defect, it would have been up to Vauxhall, the manufacturer, to deal with it and issue a recall. But far from a safety recall, Vauxhall suggested it was the owner's responsibility to make sure the car was roadworthy and that they should seek the advice of a qualified mechanic if any component failed to function. Craig Sheeran did just that, and even though his car was out of warranty, Vauxhall helped him to pay for a new steering column.
Which I thought was very generous of them, and put my faith back into Vauxhall basically. And then the very next day after picking up the car, it is gone again.
Vauxhall later told him the car needed further repairs, but they couldn't guarantee these would make the power steering problem go away. Can they give that guarantee to any Meriva owners?
OK, Sian's here. We saw how difficult it was for you once the steering failed. What if you've been in busy traffic?
Oh, it would be horrifying. I mean, I can imagine, just talking to the Meriva mums, if you're going on a dual carriageway, you're going round a roundabout, you've got kids in the back, the power steering goes, it is like trying to manoeuvre a tank or driving when the steering locks on. It'd be very frightening.
And Vauxhall say what?
Vauxhall say their power steering system is designed to be fail-safe, which means they say you can still steer the car if something goes wrong. They also say that the number of incidents they've seen is low, but advise anyone who's experienced the problem, contact the local dealer, they say, or call the customer helpline. It's a free phone number. We're going to put it at the bottom of the screen. Also, anyone who has already paid to have that fault fixed can discuss with them about whether they can get reimbursement.
Thanks, Sian. So let's be clear. Both Vauxhall and the industry safety body insist the car can still be driven when the power steering fails. But that's not what we saw when Sian was driving or the mums. So we wondered what would happen if we put someone much stronger behind the wheel, like Kirk, cover star of this month's Men's Health magazine, and you were only too happy to oblige, weren't you?
Yes, I was, yeah.
Good man. Let's see what happens.
Oh, my God. Can't breathe. Oh, my word. That's outrageous.
Well, that went well.
Not really. Once the powered steering went, I just couldn't seem to turn the wheel.
And did it seem as heavy as those heavy weights you lift?
Yeah, it did indeed. I felt like a weakling.
And with all those muscles, just like someone else I know.